They say football is a game of to-haves. Well, that and the fact that it's played by 22 people with only one ball. But sometimes the beautiful game can be decided in a flash, a moment that can change everything and live forever in infamy or glory. On June 22, 1986, just 53 seconds into the quarterfinal clash between Argentina and England at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, a moment that would fit perfectly into either of those descriptions happened. Let me set the scene first. The Three Lions had made it to the last 8 after topping a group that contained defending champions Italy. Their reward was a tie against an Argentina side led by the great Diego Maradona, who had already announced himself to the world with an astonishing display of skill and goals against Bulgaria in the group stage. England, though, had other ideas. They started on the front foot, and it was their captain, Brian Robson, who should have opened the scoring when he found himself with only goalkeeper Ubaldo Fillol to beat. But under pressure from Argentina's Oscar Ruggeri, he blazed over. Moments later, though, the controversy that would make this encounter unforgettable was upon us. A cross came in from the right, and there, in the 6-yard box, was Maradona with his hand raised. In a split second, he connected with the ball, guiding it past an unsighted Peter Shilton and into the back of the net. Somehow he'd managed to get above the 6-foot for England captain, leaving him and the rest of the world stunned. It took less than a minute for the linesman to raise his flag, but not before Maradona had wheeled away in celebration. Now, replays wouldn't become a regular thing for another decade, so we don't know exactly what happened here. But what we do know is that Maradona was always adamant that it was with the use of his hand, which would make it an obvious foul and an easy decision for the officials. But here's the thing, it wasn't obvious at the time. Yes, the linesman had a clear view, but he couldn't see Maradona's hand. All he could see was the ball cross the line, and the England players immediately started protesting. FIFA's original stance was that the goal stood, much to the fury of England manager Bobby Robson, who argued passionately that it shouldn't have stood because Maradona had deliberately used his hand. Argentina went on to win 2-1 after extra time and set up a semi-final clash with Belgium. It wasn't until 4 days later that FIFA admitted that the goal should have been disallowed. But by then, Maradona had etched his name into infamy, although perhaps not in the way that he'd hoped. When he scored his second goal against England, a mesmerizing solo effort in the quarterfinal, he ran to the corner flag and mimed shooting a ball into the net with his hand. It was an acknowledgement of the controversy surrounding his first goal. He later described it as the hand of God, although he also said that the second goal was the goal of the century. England exited the tournament, and the debate over Maradona's first goal continued. The great Johan Cruyff said that if Maradona had scored the goal honestly, he'd have no problem with it. And when asked about it in 2002, Bobby Robson claimed that it was an accident which would make it an honest mistake. For many years, the general consensus was that it was deliberate. But more recently, and especially after the release of the 2000 documentary, The Hand of God, there has been a move towards thinking of it as a fortunate accident. Ultimately, though, it doesn't really matter because it happened. You can't take that away from Maradona or Argentina. And while they may not have won the World Cup that year, losing in the final to West Germany in 1990, they did in 1986, thanks in part to one of the greatest players ever to grace the game. So there it is, one of the most controversial moments in football history, if not the most. A moment that could have changed the course of a football World Cup and decided a match in a flash. 53 seconds, the time it takes to blink, but a lifetime to remember. Thanks for watching.